Hi all, welcome back to my channel, BK World TV. Today we will be continuing the build on Agora models DB5 from the 007 series in pack 4, stages 24 through 30. Welcome back everyone. So we will be continuing the build on Agora models DB5 from the 007 series, specifically pack 4, stages 24 through 30. So as you can see, these are the parts for stages 24 through 30. So we're gonna go ahead and start with stage 24, and let's get started. So in stage 24, we will be basically assembling the left wheel hub and then fitting the upper left control arm to the front part of the chassis that we've been building in the previous specs. So let's go ahead and start building. So in the first step, we will be taking the disc brake here for the left side of the wheel, and then installing the left wheel hub here. So basically the two holes where the disc brakes or the caliper will install will be facing the left side. So it'll be installed just like that. So if we zoom in, you can see better. Basically it'll fit in just like that. And then next we'll be taking the brake calipers here, and then we'll be sliding that in. So it'll be sliding in on both the brake disc and the wheel hub, and then we will be then screwing that in place with two DS21 screws. So let's go ahead and get the screws to secure it in. So as you can see, DS21 screws are the tiny screws. Basically in this stage it'll be I think a repeat of the maybe the last few stages in the previous pack when we did the right wheel hub and installed the suspension and such. We'll be doing the same thing over on the left side now, so just to let you know. So I'll go ahead and screw that in. Just now the wheel hub is metal, where the brake disc and as well as the caliper is plastic. So go ahead and tighten it up. Okay, so now that we got the left wheel hub and brake disc with the caliper installed, what we'll be doing now is we will be taking the upper left control arm and then installing these brackets over to the left side of the front chassis. So we'll need to get the chassis back out again. So as you can see, we did the right side in the previous pack, so we'll be doing the left side here now. So basically this left control arm with the brackets will go into the 4 holes that are right here, and then we will be screwing that in with 4 DS27 screws, 2 screws for each bracket. So we got 1 screw in. We'll go ahead and put on the screw in the second bracket. So we'll hold that in place, and then we'll screw in the put in the screws for the on the bottom side. So now we got the screws in, we'll go ahead and tighten all. So as you can see, we got the upper left control arm installed, as well as assembled the wheel hub with the caliper and the brake disc. So that is it for stage 24. So in stage 25, we will be assembling the front left suspension. So you see, we got the springs and all the other shock absorbers and everything else. So let's go ahead and get started. So for the first step in stage 25, we will be taking the lower left control arm here and then attaching the anti-roll bar connection, which is this piece right here, to basically right up there. Again, this can go in either direction, but one side of the anti-roll bar connection is flat, so it'll only go in one direction regardless of which side you use. So just like that, and then we will be screwing that in with one PS31 screw from the other side right here. Let's go ahead and screw that in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, so now that we got the anti-roll bar connection fitted, okay, so now that the pins are in, we'll be taking our tweezers or pliers and then pushing the pin in all the way. So as you can see, the pin is sticking out just a little bit, I think. So we'll be pushing that pin in all the way just like that, and doing the same thing for the left side. So now that the control arm is installed, we'll be taking the circular and the shock absorber rod here. Actually, wrong piece. It'll be this piece here. And then we'll be sliding that in right in between the two brackets there. And then again, we'll be using another pin to secure that the shock absorber in place. So the pin will go from the left side for this one. So now that the pin is in, we'll be using the pliers again, just to make sure that the pin is all the way in. Okay, so now that the pin is all the way in, we'll be taking the spring and putting it over the shock absorber, just like that. Then we'll be taking the upper portion of the shock absorber, sliding that right over the spring. And then we'll be sliding that right into this top portion of the bracket there. And then we'll be sliding this one down over. Then we'll be using another pin again to secure that shock absorber in place. So if the holes are correctly aligned, the pin should fit in easily. So now that the pin is in through the hole, we'll go ahead and use a plier to screw that in all the way. And as you can see, now we have the shock absorber installed. So next what we'll be doing is we will be installing the wheel hub that we assembled in the previous stage. So the brake caliper will go over to the right side. So basically what we'll be doing is mounting the, if you can see from this side, it might be better. We'll be sliding in the brake caliper, or not the brake caliper, but the wheel hub into the control arm hole down there. And then we'll be attaching it to the, also using the top control arm of the left, the top left control arm to hold that both in place. And then we will be using two DS24 screws, my mistake, DS24 screws to secure the top and bottom in place. So go ahead and screw the bottom of the control arm first. Then next we'll be putting another screw on top. So now that we got the screws in, we'll go ahead and tighten the screws. Then we'll tighten the top as well. So if you zoom out a little bit, so as you can see, we got the wheel hub with the control arms and the shock absorber with the spring installed to the left front of the chassis. So that is basically it for stage 25. So in stage 26, we will be fitting the steering wheel rod. So as you can see, we got all the components or parts for the steering wheel rod. So let's go ahead and get started. So in the first step, we'll be taking the steering wheel column here and then the steering gear, and then we'll be fitting it right into this ball joint. The ball joint has a through hole that goes through where you will put the pin through to mount the steering column in place. So we'll go ahead and align the holes together and then take the pin, and then we'll put that through the hole for the steering column into the ball joint. So as you can see, we got the pin at least in through the hole. So we'll go ahead and use a plier to push the pin all the way through. Maybe we'll push it in a little bit more. Make sure that it's evenly flush to the other side. So as you can see, now the steering column is now attached to the steering gear. And then next we will be taking the steering link, which is this side here. And then again, we'll be using the pin, another one of those same pins, and then attaching the column to the steering link through the hole as well. So as you can see, we got the pin pushed through to the through the steering link on the other side. So we'll go ahead and push it in, and then we'll use the plier again to flush the pin all the way through. So as you can see, now the steering gear and the steering link are installed to the columns on both ends. Everything so in this piece here is all metal, just to let you know. So now that we got this steering column and everything assembled, we'll be bringing in the chassis here. Then as you can see, we have this cradle assembly right on the chassis here. So we'll be taking the steering gear and then placing that right into the chassis, into that cradle. So now that we got the steering gear seated onto that cradle, you'll need to turn the steering link around so the flat side with the hole, it will be facing upwards. So one side of the steering link is rounded and the other side is flat. So the flat side will point up. Then once that is seated, we will be taking the steering rod, which is this piece here with this little little bump piece on it. There's another piece to this, but this is we'll install this part later. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the steering rod, and then we're gonna go through this triangular section of the hole here. So this basically this, how do you say it? The correct term I'm looking for is like the toothed part of the rod, kind of like the texture equivalent to the tooth of the gears. It's going to be facing towards the front, so it's going to go like this, but through the two triangular areas. So you're going to feed it right in just like that. Then what we're gonna do is we are going to turn this so the teeth part of the steering rod will face down onto the steering gear that we put into the cradle. So it's gonna go right over that gear. And then basically the steering hub will be mounted onto these, not the steering hub, but the wheel hub will mount to the steering rod on both ends. And we will be using one DS24 screws on each side to secure the rod in place with the wheel hub. So basically for the screw, we will be installing the screw from the bottom side. So you might need to push the entire suspension up in order to align the rod to it. So once you so as you can see, we'll repeat the process. So the rod basically sits on the gear portion here, and then you can see there's a gap, so you just need to push the suspension in all the way so the rod goes through to the wheel hub, and then you take the DS24 screw and then screw it in place. So again, we'll repeat the process on the right side. Haven't screwed it in all the way on the left side or the other side just yet, just to make sure that everything's aligned. So there will be tension on the rod now, so we'll need to push the wheel hub and the rod all the way in, just like that, and then put in the another DS24 screw. So now that the screws are in, we'll go ahead and tighten the screws on both sides. As you can see better. So as you can see, now the steering rod is in, which is this piece right here. So next we will be taking the anti-roll bar. The flat side will be facing up. The other side has a indentation. It has a circular indentation that goes inward. That will be facing down. So again, we will be sliding the anti-roll bar through the triangular opening, same opening where we previously slid the not the anti-roll bar, but the steering rod. So it's gonna go right through, just like that. I just need to make sure it's in the correct direction. So just like that. And then what we'll be doing next is we'll be flipping the entire chassis over. Just make sure you don't break the steering column, because that piece is still not fixed yet. Then we'll be taking these two brackets, as you can see right here, and we'll be placing them right over these two holes that's mounted onto the chassis. And this will basically secure the anti-roll bar to the chassis as well. And then we will be securing that in place with 2 DS20 screws for each bracket. So let's go ahead and screw that in. So once we get the screws in, we'll go ahead and tighten them. The brackets are plastic, so just don't over tighten the screws. Okay, so now that the brackets are in, what we'll be doing next is we'll be taking 2 PS14 screws, and then securing the anti-roll bar in place the lower control arm. So basically, if you can see, this is the anti-roll bar right here, and then it's gonna be secured into this lower control arm post right there, and then using one PS14 screws, we'll be tightening it in place from the top, so the screw will go in from the top side. So as you can see, we got the screw in, so we'll go ahead and tighten up the screw. So as you can see, we now have the anti-roll bars in place, right there and right there, going across the front. So next, what we'll be doing is we will be installing the steering rod holders, these little plastic pieces right here. So we'll be taking the right side first. So we'll be taking the right side first. It is labeled R for right and left for the left side. Just small, maybe it's a little bit hard to see, but it is labeled. So we'll be taking the steering rod holder, and then basically it'll mount right here, and then there's a tiny little hole for the screw right there. So it's gonna go in, slide in right there. And again, we'll be doing the same thing over to the left side as well. And then we will be taking one DS03 screw and then screwing that steering rod holder in place to the chassis. So once that is finished, that is it for stage 26. So if we zoom out, as you can see, we now got the steering rod with the steering column in place, as well as the anti-roll bar, and they're both attached to the wheel hub on both the left and right side. So now we'll move on to the next stage. So in stage 27, we will be building or assembling the outer wheel rim. Now for stage 27, similar to, I think, stage 2 in the first pack, we have the easy build version of the kit here, as well as the regular build version here, where you will need to install these spokes manually. We will be taking the regular build in this video, but those that want to opt for the easier version with the spokes that have already been all one piece, you can go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and get started with the regular version. So to assemble the outer wheel rim, we'll be taking the jig that we got in stage 2, and then we'll be taking the wheel center here and placing it right on the post in the middle. And then next we will be taking this outer wheel rim and then placing that right on to the side. There are little slots to secure the jig in place with the wheel to hold it in place rather. And just like in stage 2 in pack 1, we will be sliding in the spokes, which is this piece right here. It's going to go through the center of the wheel and then out into the rim. So basically the spokes are going to go in through these holes here and then hook onto the little grooves on the outer side, and we'll be repeating that process twice, one on the lower part of the center wheel, and then wheel center, and then the on the second level, or the on top of the center wheel center as well. So this process will take some time, like before. So we'll go ahead and get started with the spokes. So as you can see, we now have the spokes installed onto the outer rim. However, there is one small issue. There is one piece of spoke missing right here. I'm sure you can tell there's a slightly larger gap. I did contact support at Agora Models. Hopefully they can get back to me. See if maybe they can send some extra spokes for me to install one. I don't know why just one is missing. May not sound like too big of a deal, but once we install everything, it looks like there is a missing spoke. So yeah, there's that, and just just want everything to be nice and complete. So I'm just waiting on support to get back to me on that. So, but in the meantime, we'll go ahead and go to the next step, which is to put the retainer ring on top, so the rest of these spokes won't move out of their position. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then later on probably need to take it out and add the extra spoke. So let's go ahead and add the retainer ring. So the retainer ring has this little plastic notch here, and that is gonna align with a notch that is on the plastic outer rim, which is right here. So basically it's gonna fit right in there, and then it's gonna be screwed in with 4 PS01 screws. So we will go ahead and screw the retainer ring into place. So as you can see, we now have the outer wheel rim set up. We just have one spoke missing, so we'll go ahead and get that fixed later on. But that is it for stage 27. For stages 28 and 29, we will be skipping those stages in this video, and I'll be creating another video specifically for those 2 stages later on. The reason why is we are missing one spoke from stage 27, and we need to install that to install the inner wheel rim on stage 28, followed by the tire, which we'll do on stage 29. But if I build those without installing the scope and spoke, and then later on, once that piece comes in, I'll need to dismantle everything. I don't want to dismantle the tire and everything, because it's pretty hard to take the tire, or put the tire in and then take the tire back out and repeat that process. So we will be skipping stages 28 and 29 in this video, just to let you know. So in stage 30, we will be mounting the rear chassis. So let's go ahead and open up this box here, which has the rear chassis in it. So it's a nicely tight fit in there. Okay, so yes, very tight fit in the box. So as you can see, the chassis along with these screws are in there. The rear chassis is also metal, just like the main front chassis and the middle chassis as well. So we will be installing the the rear chassis over to the main assembly here. So basically, it's gonna go in just like that, and then we will screw that in place with 6 DS02 screws. So let's go ahead and screw that in. Okay, so now that we got the 6 screws in, we'll go ahead and tighten all the screws. Make sure the chassis is nice and secured all together. So as you can see, we now installed the rear chassis over to the rest of the entire chassis. So that is it for stage 30. So in pack 4, stages 24 through 27 plus stage 30, we've set up the left wheel hub. So let's install the brake caliper, then install the control arm with the suspension and everything, and then install the steering wheel rod with the column, the anti-roll bar, and then started working on the wheel, the outer wheel rim. And then in stage 30, we set up or installed the rear portion of the chassis to the rest of the chassis for the frame. However, we had to skip stages 28 and 29 because on stage 27 there was a spoke missing. So I've contacted Agora model support, so hopefully they can send me one so we can complete 27. Then we can complete stages 28, which is the inner wheel rim, and then 29 is to install the tire for that. So I'll make a quick video on those stages once I get the spoke in for the missing one. But yeah, other than that, what you see here is from stages 24 through 27 plus stage 30. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.